Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Zoom C++ programming. I can see I have James out here. James, hello, James. How are you?
I'm well, Mr. Govender, and how are you now?
Extremely happy that now that you are here and you've got your video on. Thank you very much, James. I'm going to start our session. And today on my cards, I have to talk about assignment 1 because James told me before we could start the recording that he hasn't started assignment 1 as yet. And I'm a bit worried about that because James, assignment 1, if I look at my tutorial letter, assignment 1, let me start that share. It says that it's due very soon, right? It's due. Let's look at the due date, James. 20th of April, 2022. So, James, I'm a bit worried, James, that you haven't started it because today is 15th.
James, I'll work day and night.
You have to, because programming is such that, James, you cannot leave it for the last minutes. You know, you can't do it at 11 o'clock at night and say, hey, I'm going to expect to complete it and cut, copy, paste, right? So that's a no-no. Let me just share that video quickly. Not that video, the screen. Right. So James, you should be able to see the screen right now. Just tell me, James, are you able to see it where it says due date 20th of April, 2022?
Yes, I can see that.
Great. James, can you see it says, and then they say that you need to go through lessons 1 through 16. So you have to at least go through, a couple of them, but don't panic. I'm here to help you. You also have to go through the practical exercises. So James, my question to you is, do you have the solutions for the study guide? James?
Yes, I've got a study guide. I'm going through it. I'm having it now. I've got a study guide.
Okay, great. Yes. But do you have the solutions for the study guide?
Solutions? No. Where do you get the solutions?
You get it from me. Okay, we'll talk about that afterwards, right? Now, James, your immediate priority must be that you start this assignment, and I'm going to assist you. And how I'm going to assist you, James, is that I have some videos that will help you with assignment 1. So the first question, James, it talks about find a good cookbook, read the instructions for your favorite dish, write a program to display the recipe on the screen with a difference. Now, James, you also asked me, how do you submit this assignment? They would expect you to give them a printout of your program code, right? So, and they'll also expect you to give you some output. So they tell you, submit both your program and the output. So your question to me, James, was, James, ask the question.
Okay, my question is, how do you, after you have done your assignment, now how do you submit it?
Great, thank you for that question, James.
Yes, I can see that you submit both program and output. Now that if you have it, now how do you submit now?
Great, James, I'm going to do that for you now, right? I'm going to show you how to do that. So what I have on my screen right now, James, is code blocks. Right, so James, have you installed code blocks?
Yes, I've done the code blocks.
Great. So I'm going to open up my code blocks, and I'm going to show you how to submit the Hello World program. So I'm opening up code blocks. Code blocks is an IDE. I have a little video on that as well, James. By the way, if there's other participants in the group, please feel free to stop me, ask me a question. It just so happened that James put his video on, and I can see him, and he asked the question. So I'm going to create a new project, James, and it's a console application, and it's a C++ program, and I'm going to give it a nice, meaningful name like James. So I gave it a name, and I have the program out here. So James,
Mr. Governor,
yes,
Mr. Governor,
yes.
can you, there's a display, this meeting is being recorded. You know that thing is still there. Can you move it because now it's.
Oh,
it's
okay. I'm
front
sorry about that. Thank you very much for that. It's not showing on my screen.
Oh.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, it's showing here now.
It's also not showing here.
Yeah, it's showing on my screen.
Can you just click on got it or click on the little icon that says.
Let me. Okay, I've removed it. Just click continue. It's
Great.
gone.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, so I have another question. He says, I also completed assignment 1, so may I be excused as well? Sure, Michael Davis, please. Goodbye, Michael. Thank you. That's great. No problem, Michael. Bye, Michael. Today's lesson is to assist the students who are struggling with code blocks, who are struggling with assignment 1, right? Michael, thank you for that message. I'm glad you logged in. Am I looking, all I'm looking for is how to submit the assignment, right? There's the question there. How do you submit the assignment? So I'm going to do that as well. That's what James has asked me. So James, let's say for instance, this is my question, right, James? Yeah. In order to submit it, I need to copy this code. I'm going to open up my Microsoft Word and I'm going to pretend that I'm doing the assignment. So I've written the program and the program is hello world. Once I've written the program, I must copy this code, James. Copy this code. So here it is. I've opened up Microsoft Word. It's a blank document. I'm going to copy the code. I'm going to copy the code. Control C. I selected the code. I open up Microsoft Word. Control V. So I paste it. So there's my question 1.
Yeah.
Right? So if I want to label it on the top, and I'm going to say question 1, assignment 1, question 1. Maybe I want to make it look a little neater because I don't want to waste so much of lines, and I put it there. Now, James, I will need the output. So James, I go back to my program. And let me go and put my output. So what I need to do is I need to run this program, James. I'm going to run the program. I'm going to click on the play button. There's my green play button, James.
Right.
Click on the play button. It says, it seems that the project has not been built. Do you want to build it now? I'm going to say yes. And there we go. It says, hello, James. Let's make it a little bit more meaningful. James is here. I'm going to say, hello, James. How are you? Right, so let's run this program now. Oops, it didn't compile. I did this on purpose, James. If you don't compile, recompile the program, it's not going to say, hello, James, how are you? Let's recompile this program, build and run, build and run. Great. Hello, James, how are you? James, do you see that, James?
I can see that.
Yay! Are you happy?
I'm happy. You can see that.
Now, if you take this output screen and you go to the top left-hand corner of the output screen,
yeah,
and you click on it, it will give you the following drop-down menu: restore, move, size, minimize, close, edit. So you go to edit and you say select all. Right? Then you go back to the top left-hand corner, you click, you go back to edit, and you say copy.
Copy.
You say copy, right? This is the only course where you are allowed to copy, James. You can copy, 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 and nobody will say anything, right?
Okay.
That was a joke, James. Okay, so I'm going to click on copy. Now, James, I go to my Microsoft Word and I click or press Control V. Voila, magic.
Wow, wow, wow.
Right, so there's my output. So you can give it a name if you want. Output from assignment 1, question 1, right? But it should be obvious. This is the output from there, right?
Yeah.
Now I like to leave where it says process, return, execution time, press any key. So it kind of shows the person that you've done it. Now, someone also told me in the chat that you could give me a screenshot. Yes, you could do that. So James, if you want to do a screenshot, you need to open your snipping tool. I'm going to look for my snipping tool. There's my snipping tool out there. I'm going to say new. I'm going to snip it. I'm going to click on edit. James, you still with me, James?
Yes, I'm following.
I'm say copy. By the way, James, I could have used the keyboard shortcuts, Control and C key. It's now copied to memory. I open up Word, Control V, magic. There we go, James.
Wow. Wow.
Right? Wow. Yes. Wow. I love that. I love that expression. Okay, James.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that question, James. So that answers your question, and it also answers another student that asked that question, which was
it was me. It's Zivuya.
Zivuya Mutati. Hello,
Yes,
how are
yes,
you?
yes.
Zivuya?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm extremely happy now that you are here. Thank you for joining. Last week you were with us as well, weren't you?
Yes, and I also wanted to ask, since we have like, how many questions are there? I think there are 9.
Yes.
It's up to question 9. So do we have to write, do we have to submit one document for each question?
No, you put all of them together. Imagine the poor marker who's going to be marking your work. He has to look through.
No, okay, no, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And there's 264 of you in group E. Oh, that's a hell of a lot. So put all of them together.
Yeah.
And once you completed
one
it,
document.
Yeah, one document. It'll be a good idea to PDF the document, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
you click on File. You click on File, and you go to Save as Adobe.
Save as, okay.
Yes, and give it a meaningful name, please, right? I was just playing around and I said, I'm going to call it James. I'd like you to call it COS1511, let's say COS1511 assignment 01 student. Right, that was my UNISA number, right? Or you put out your student number. Okay. So it makes the life of the marker easy. Okay?
Okay.
Right, cool? Right, great. So I'm going to save that right now. Done. Right, so it makes life easy in terms of accessing your document. And it also makes life easy for the marker because they use software where you can mark it, right? So if I look at this question and say, hey, look at that. This is James's question. Hello, James, how are you? Right, so that wasn't the question. The other thing that I'd like to tell you is to include comment statements in your program. So if you notice, on the top, it's got include IO stream. So make a comment statement and say student number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Student name, James Bond. How's that, James?
It's perfect.
Perfect.
I will save it.
Oh, yes. Okay. In fact, your student number should be 2022 007. Yeah. Right. So that would help the markers as well. Okay. Cool.
Right.
Right. Does that answer your question, James?
Perfectly, I understand it now.
Excellent. Right. The next.
I also think I get it now because that's what I wanted to know. Especially like how you submit and all of that.
Okay.
And then the whole thing, now you can take it and then.
So I think I'm covered.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that feedback.
Okay, thanks.
There's another question. It said, is it okay if we use Visual Studio? You could use Visual Studio, but I would prefer it if you listen to what the lecturer has to say. And she said, use code blocks. So let's use code blocks, okay? Because her referencing would be to code blocks. Now, if you are having difficulty, I could also show you an online compiler. So let me go to my Wakelet page. On my Wakelet page, if you go to the bottom of the screen, there's an online compiler. If you are having issues with code blocks, right? You go to, there we go. There's this online compiler, right? It's an online C++ compiler. It does almost the same thing as code blocks. The only difference is it's not sitting on your computer. It's sitting somewhere out in the cloud. So if I click on this link, it will take me to the online compiler. Here's the online compiler. So again, I can say, instead of saying hello world, I'm going to say hello James Bond 007. And in order to run the program, I click on the green button on the top, it says run, and it will do the very same thing as code blocks. The only difference is it's now sitting on the cloud, it's sitting on an online space. Here's the website, onlinegdb.com/online_C++ compiler. And you will adopt the similar stance in terms of copying and pasting into Microsoft Word. Okay, does that answer your question?
Also, so we can use the online compiler, because last time.
You can, but I prefer it if you go and download code blocks. Okay?
Yeah, that's another thing, because I ended up downloading it, but it was crashing. I don't know if maybe it's something wrong with my laptop or what. Like it's crashing. The moment I try to run the code, it crashes.
Oh no, oh no. Okay, let me give you a lovely resource for you to access that, right? This question always comes up in the years that I've been teaching. So it goes, let me see, where's my video? I've got a video that will help you on Wakelet. And the video, it says how to install IDE. Let me see where that is. These are all the videos that will help you with the assignment. Okay, if you send me an email, I'll email it to you, because you seem to be having that issue, where this lecturer, oh my, what's this? This is age restricted video. Oh, this is weird. And okay, I
think last
to help you to install.
Yeah, I think last time you did send it to me. I installed it and everything, but when I try to run the code, it just crashes.
Okay, then you're gonna check on
because I'm running it on a Mac.
Oh yes, you told me. You're not the only one that has issues with Mac.
Yeah.
I don't know, for some odd reason.
Yeah, so
experience of running C++, a Mac gives us issues. I don't know why. You first mentioned that.
Yeah, well, it's giving me problems.
So if you
I did install it, but now it's crashing.
Okay, if it's crashing, then you got to uninstall, reinstall, and if you don't have a Mac and you have a Windows-based PC, try and install it on that one, right? But in your case, I would suggest you use the online compiler, because you only have 4 days for the assignment. Right? The assignment is due in 4 days' time. Okay?
Yeah, because I think I'm only left with 2 questions. I've done the other ones already.
Okay, great. They tell me that there's an automatic extension until the 25th, but don't wait until the 25th. Try and sort it out easy. Okay, so I've answered your question. Thank you very much. Anybody else with a question? Do you have an alternative for Mac or like I said, use the online compiler. That will help you. Okay, so that will help you with that. Oh, it says Mr. Prinavin. Just to let you know, Kevin, Mr. Kevin Ntambo. I studied really hard for my PhD and I got my PhD. I don't mean to show off anything, but I'm qualified enough to teach you C++ programming. My thesis was on IT programming to first-year students at the University of Technology. So, right, I just saw that there and I just wanted to throw it in. But you need to determine my value to you in what I can give you in terms of imparting knowledge in the next 35 minutes or so, 35 minutes. Right, thank you, Mr. Ntambo. Kevin, thank you, Kevin. Okay, great. Nick, if there's any more questions, I'd like to help you with question 1.
Okay, before you go to question 1, Mr. Cavender.
Yes.
You know, when okay, the first time I was trying to install the program.
Yes.
On the study guide, it will say it's version 16 on the study guide. But now I got version 20, but it's working. I don't say, yeah, it's working.
That's
but
fine.
It's not version 16, it's 20.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, it's working. It's working.
That's okay, James. Go ahead, use version 20. All right. When they wrote the study guide, it must have been version 16 that was the latest out there. But by all means, you do that. All right. So that's not a problem. So long as your program compiles and you work with it, right?
Thank you.
Okay. So I just want to show you very quickly something that will help you with your printing of your assignment. If you look at the settings, you go to code blocks and you choose settings from the menu and you go to environment. You go to environment, you click on environment. I just saw this now and I realized that sometimes you may want to make the font slightly larger, smaller. You go to font and you go to font. Somewhere it says this is sample text and you click on choose. And this is where you can set your font size, Times New Roman, Arial, color, bold, italics. Right? This is just something extra. When I used to lecture and I used to project this on the screen, I will want to use a large font, size 24, so that when it appears on the screen, it looks pretty cool, right? Pretty big. Let's go to OK, and you'll see that happening, right? But you don't have to do that. Right? Look at that. Isn't that pretty large without interfering with my magnifying settings? Right? So maybe you'd want to do that, and left to you. It's just a personal preference. The other thing I want to show you is that sometimes you'll notice at the bottom of my screen, I've lost the output screen. In order to get that, you click on View and you click on Logs. You click on Logs and the screen will appear at the bottom. Right? It should appear at the bottom if you lose it. Please play around with all these menu options. View, your toolbar, your start page. What would happen if you remove a toolbar, put it back on, right? If you are having a hassle and your program is not working and not compiling, start afresh. File, close your project. If you want to save it, click on File, New project, user projects. Let me tell you why. If you use an empty file, you're going to see a blank file. I always say go with File, New Project, right? File, New Project. James, does that help you, James?
Yeah.
Great. And James, the first thing you must do when you have a new project or a new file, even if you haven't started compiling anything, right? Even if you haven't started, you just compile. You run the compiler and you see everything is working. Okay, you build it and you run it. That's my advice to you, right? You check to see everything is okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now you'll notice it actually created an executable file, bond.exe. If I forward this file to you, you could actually run it. But maybe we'll create a virus and then we'll send it off to other people if we don't like, right? Okay, I won't do that, James. I won't do that. All right. So let's go to question 1. Let's look at question 1 for the assignment. James said he hasn't started that. Before I do that, any other questions? Any other questions? Anyone with a question? Let me check the chat. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Kevin, it's okay. Anybody else with a question? Question going once, going twice? No questions. Okay, good. Let's start with assignment 1 because this is your strategy for tackling this course. Your strategy for tackling this course is you need to do all the assignments. You must. I think it's compulsory. Don't say I'm going to miss out assignment 1, assignment 2. Do all of them. The first question, it says, find a good cookbook, read the instructions for your favorite dish, write a program to display the recipe on the screen, but with a difference. The quantity of each ingredient must be multiplied by a value entered from the keyboard. Now, I'm teaching you a strategy to answer this question, but I'm also teaching you programming skills. And one of the strategies to tackle programming is you need to determine what's input, what's processing, and what's output. So if I look at this question, it tells me that this is going to be the output. Please enter the factor to multiply the ingredients with, and you got to put in 4. Recipe name, ingredients, 8 cups of flour, and the method. Even if you don't know what's going on in the question, this is what I tell my students. Answer the coding part of the program by looking at the output. So if they say, please enter the factor to multiply the ingredients with, you put that into the cout statement. So I'm going to copy that. Again, this is the only course where we allow you to copy, right? We don't mind about plagiarism from here, right? So I'm going to say Control C. I'm going to take my code blocks, and where I have the word hello world, I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to put in Control V. Please enter the factor to multiply it by. So James and the rest of you are sitting in here. Again, I'm trying to give you something extra. All I'm now going to do is I put in 1 line, James, just 1 line of code. I'm going to run my code. Click on run. Oops, James, I forgot to recompile. Let me go and recompile my program. Build and run, build and run. Great. Please enter the factor to multiply the ingredients with. Now, James, this is my output statement. By the way, that's what cout stands for, console output, right?
Yeah.
This is output. I told you there are 3 things that are important in any program: input, processing, and output. So James, we already have output. It says, please enter the factor to multiply with. I need to now determine what goes inside there. Let me go and read my question. So I read my question, James. It says 4. So I've got to put in 4, and I've got to store that, James, in a variable. A variable is a container. Think of it as a container. So here I have my mug of coffee, and let me have a sip while I'm at it. It's a container, it's holding my coffee in there, right, James?
Yeah.
So if I read my question, it says, declare an int variable named m factor to store the value in with the quantity of each ingredient. They are telling you the type of variable that you have. It's a variable called m factor, and the type of variable is an integer. Now, James, you'll find all this information from lessons 1 all the way to lesson 16. And you have to go through all those lessons in order for you to be able to determine what's a variable, what's an integer, what's cin, and all that goes with it. All I'm going to now do is I'm going to help you and take you to a YouTube video, which I did last year in 2021, and it answers this question. It gives you the all the resources for it, and you are going to be able to watch the video and answer the question based on that. I'm not answering the question for you. I'm not spoon feeding you. I'm facilitating your learning. I'm guiding you to it. Okay, James?
Thank you.
Right. So if I look at my Wakelet page, let me go to my Wakelet page. Let's go to my Wakelet page. This is what I posted at the very beginning of the lesson. Oops, it can't find it. Let's do it again. There we go. Right. So James, we are answering assignment 1, question 1. Oops, did I do that? Right. So James, you go to my Wakelet page, wakelet.com/wake, and you look for assignment 1, question 1. Right, assignment 1, question 1. Let's look at assignment 1. Where's assignment 1, question 1? Ah, this is assignment. There we go. It says cookbook. James, do you see that, James?
Yes, I can see that.
Now, all you do is you click on the play button, James, and you just sit back and watch my video. Right? So let's do that.
Assignment 3, question 1. Find a good cookbook.
James, are you able to hear the sound, James?
I can hear that.
It's not my voice, James. James, did you notice my voice changed?
It's coming, but now it's cutting.
Read the instructions for your favorite.
Okay, yes, I can hear that.
Right program to display the recipe on the screen.
That's my wife, James. James.
Hello.
That's my wife's voice, okay?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, great. So you let's listen to the video.
Quantity of each ingredient must be multiplied by its value entered from our method. The program ingredients must be multiplied. July 2021. So we basically have.
James, this was the assignment question last year, 12th of July 2021. So it's the very same thing, James. It's the very same thing. Right? But don't go and copy somebody's work from last year. You will never learn programming. You can find answers to these assignments on Facebook or wherever. You don't learn programming like that. In the exam, you're going to be stumped. And also, you'll never learn. You know, it's just not ethical. So I don't give out answers. I am hopefully trying to teach you how to fish. So James, if you watch this video, I even have the code blocks. Let me look at the code blocks. Right, so you'd be able to see it. And right, so James, let's go on. You can watch it, right? You can watch it at your leisure. Does that help you with assignment 1, question 1?
Yes, yes.
Great. Now, James, you also have assignment 1, question 2, and assignment 1, question 3 to answer. Okay, James?
Okay.
Right. So now you go and you look at assignment. And assignment, I've labeled it. It doesn't matter. It says assignment 3, 2021. And it says Vincent. Vincent was my student. You go and look for it out here, right? You got to do some work. Right?
Yes.
That's question 8. That's question 4. That's question 7. That's question 4. Question 3. Question 5. Question 2. Assignment 1. Question 10. Question 6. Question 9. Question 5. So let's see, where did I see question 2 out here? All right, so let's look at the assignment question. The assignment question says, in question 2, a teacher at Lever Primary School needs to divide her class in different group sizes according to the activity they have to do. This will help her to prepare workstations for each group. Can you see at the top, it says COS1511 103/0/2022.
Yes, I can see that.
Great. So now you go to this link, you click on the play button, and let's listen to the video for 2 minutes. Hello, my C++ students. So let's look at assignment 1, question 2. The question is as follows. So James, there we go. I've given you some help with question 2.
Okay.
Right. So if you look at the video and you listen to it, it says, please enter the size of each group. So there's my little help for you. And I guarantee you this works. Last year, I did this assignment and I can show you my YouTube channel. I'm going to click on YouTube right now. I'm going to stop at that point. This is the and James, can you see the bottom of the screen, James?
Yes, I can see that.
275 views. James, well, I can't compete with Beyonce and Drake or whoever, but 275 views. James, right? Okay, James. So from that, I gather it seems to work. People will not go to your site if you don't have something that's of value to them. All right?
Yes, right, yeah.
So the next question, James, is question number 3. Let's look at question 3. I will have, oh, there's question 5. So again, you go and click on the video link and you'll watch the video and that will help you to tackle question 5. Similarly, with question number 9, the voting station.
Yeah.
The voting station is there. Let's go and look at the voting station. The question is on voting. Then we won't talk about which party you're going to vote for and all of that. Let's not get political here. But here's the question. And here's the video to help you. This was last year's assignment 1, question 9.
Suppose a new member of the city council.
Oh, I got my wife to dictate it for me.
3 candidates, and suppose they are 4.
We're trying to spend some quality time. James, you married, James?
Program that will count the votes for every candidate.
Right.
And
so there's the question, and I assist you with the code blocks.
I have another variable.
Right, there we go. I started you off and I assisted you.
Voting.
Okay. Okay.
Station equal.
And again, James, I do not give you all answers. That's not my job. I'm not supposed to be giving you all answers. And I find that difficult way to understand when people just copy the answers and they do it in a matter of an hour. Each assignment question will take you a good couple hours to work with, right? So please struggle a little bit and get the answer, but there is help available for you, and that's the help out there.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Right, so that'll help with question number 9. Let me see, what else do I have out here? I've got question number assignment 1, question 6, the bookstore, the discounts at the bookstore. Again, James, if you watch the video, I dictate the question for you and I talk to you and I tell you
question 6
how to tackle the question. All right. All I have is an hour with you guys, and I try not. This is correspondence study. It's not face-to-face lectures, and I try to make it as what can I? What word would I? As profitable as possible, and for the hour that you spend with me. Right, it's 12:44. I've got 15 minutes more. It's impossible for me to go through every single question. And you are part-time students, you're correspondence students. If you went to a full-time university, I would have seen you 3-4 times in a week, and that's how we would have done it. I can see I got a question in the chat. Afternoon, sir, may I ask? You mentioned something about the solutions to the study guide. Where would we be able to find that? Zara, good question. Good question. I got it. I got it. You want it? Hello? You want it? Zara? Zara, please unmute. Oh, she said, yes, please, sir. Okay, let me go check if I got all this. But I don't want to dish it out to you just like that. I'd like you to work a little bit right, let me see. I'm so lucky I did this years and years ago. So I've got, let me see if I still have it. I'm not sure if I still got it. Zara wants to know. If I look at COS15 Google Drive, I'm sharing my screen again, Zara. Zara, COS1511. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Yes, I do have it. I'm very lucky. Let me see if it's there. Now, I'm not going to give you all the solutions, just what you need. And that you have to ask for, right? Ask. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you need. So let's look at this one here. Oh, there's Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. You take the Word document. Whoopsie. Right, this is Zara. If you are listening, you'll copy the program. Control C, copy it. You open up code blocks because I don't want you to simply copy it and not learn anything from it, right? So Zara asked the question, Control V. There's it, twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at. Up above the world you fly, like a tea tray in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you Let me go and change the font a little bit, Zara. Zara, did you like my singing, Zara? Zara. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Zara, are you with me? Okay, maybe you're having difficulty with your mic. I think that could be the reason. You want to post in the chat if you like my singing? Oh, thank you, Zara. It's amazing. Yes, yes. Zara, I think I have to give you all the answers. Everything. Send me an email. Right? I don't want to distribute it left, right, and send it to everybody because some people don't want it. Some people don't go and access it, right? So thank you, Zara. Now let's build and run this program. Build and run. And there's the answer to this. There we go. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at. Up above the world, so right. So there's it. So that's how you will tackle that one. Because I know time is of the essence, Zara. I'm not sure if you're a family, you have a family and you have work commitments and all that goes with it. So Zara, I've answered your question. Zara, yeah, I appreciate it too. Thank you, Zara. Thank you for the feedback. May I also send you an email? Sure, Kevin, sure. Right, but I'm not going to send all the solutions, okay? Because I don't give you answers. You know that.
Mr. Govender.
Yes,
hello.
James. Hello.
What was the question from Zara? What was the question?
Zara wanted to know where would she get solutions to the study guide, and I said I don't know where that is. But
you told me the same story.
Yeah, right. I better stop it. So Zara has a question about that, right? But Zara must first send me her questions and her attempt, and that's when I'll send her the first answer. So example, twinkle, twinkle, little bat. I've got the solution for twinkle, twinkle, little bat, and I will share that with Zara, but only if she sends me an email, right? Okay, I know I'm going to get lots of emails, but I have to, try and send it one to each one. I don't want to give it out to everybody, all right? Because I don't give out solutions. I don't help students. I don't have Zoom sessions. James, is this a Zoom session now, James? Are we meeting it, James?
Yes.
Am I helping you with assignment 1, James?
Yes, you do.
No, am I helping you, James? Am I helping you? Am I helping you with anything, James? Zara, am I going to send you any assistance with the lesson 1 solutions?
No.
Yeah, that's the answer. Right. Great. Okay. So I want y'all to struggle. I want y'all to struggle, and that's what you're going to do, right? You are UNISA students. E-tutor takes the distance out of distance learning, but it's no use me going and doing assignment 5 or exam questions when you're struggling with assignment 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, because all this builds up to the exam. All this builds up. Assignment 1 will build up to assignment 2, will build up to assignment 3, and so forth. Okay, but don't panic. Today is the 16th of April. I know there'll be students who won't have submitted by next week. So next week, Saturday, we will meet, and you should be asking me questions about your assignment. What's happening in assignment 1, assignment 2, help me here, help me there, or something like that. Not assignment 2, question 2 of assignment 1. And you'll have syntax errors or runtime errors, and maybe I could assist you in that respect. Okay, but again, I don't give out answers. You need to work on your own. I can't stress that enough. Okay, you have to work on your own, and you have to spend a lot of time. Unfortunately, that's the situation with COS1511 and 1512 or any programming subject. You've got to spend time. You've got to invest time. All right, I see another question. Ezekiel, good afternoon, sir. May you please explain what the automatic extension implies? Is the due date the 20th or the 25th? Right, let me explain to you how that extension works. All right. So if I look at the tutorial letter, right on the top, it says, now let me tell you how this came about. Again, because of my experience at UNISA. The due date is the 20th of April, but I promise you students will work on the 19th and say, hey, I can't make it. And they'll start emailing the lecturer and say, please give me an extension, please give me an extension. So what they did is they said, we'll give you an automatic extension on the 25th. So you have 5 extra days. To my knowledge, they don't deduct marks. We don't want you to fail, we want you to pass. So they will give you an automatic extension of 5 extra days. But after that, I think they will close the assignment submission. You won't be able to work. You have my assistance, you have my videos, you have the study guide. I will help you with some solutions with the lessons. When you send me an email and you ask me you want with your part, and I will help you look at it and we'll do that, right? So does that answer your question about the extension? Let me look at the chat now. Let's see what he said. Where's this? Right, let's see the chat. And he mentioned, right, is that the due date is the 20th of April. You work towards the 20th of April. And if you are struggling, you have 2 or 3 more days. Thank you, Ezekiel. Art, great. Thank you for that question. All right, anybody else with a question? It's coming up to 5 to 1. I'd like to round up.
Okay, another question.
Yes, James.
Mr. Governor?
Sure.
On the discussion, there's another portal of a discussion. How do we discuss now? I think it's on the email, my UNISA emails. You'll go to assignment or discussions. How do I discuss with you? Introduction, blah, blah, blah. You heard those things. Okay.
All right. So let me go to the my UNISA site. Let's go to the UNISA site, James. Taking a few extra seconds. That's my network. All right. So let me log in. And I hope, don't check my password, everybody. Right. So I'm there. So James, you would see the following on your screen. It'll say my modules 2021. Yes. And my modules is COS 1511 22Y7E. Yeah. Where do you show me your discussion thing, James?
Well, I saw it somewhere there. Maybe if you go down an announcement, there's announcement, and then okay, there will be somehow where there's a discussions.
I can't see it on mine, James.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
All right, I'm going to the other.
I just think.
Ah, there we go. There we go. There's a discussions here. Let's see some discussions there.
Yeah.
Right. So there we go. It says visible, add a new discussion topic. So go ahead, James. You will click on add a new discussion topic. You'll click on subjects. You click on the message that you want to post and you post it.
Okay.
All right. And then people will reply to your post.
Okay. But now, if I discuss with you, how do I discuss with you?
Okay, I'll share my email with you, and I can always discuss it like this on a Zoom session, James, where you and I can talk one-on-one if you like, and or if you want to call me. Michael Davis, he WhatsApped me the other day, and we were able to sort his issue out over WhatsApp, and that could be. But you could also post it in the discussion group so that everybody else benefits. Right, like you ask a question. Yeah, if you ask a question, how do you submit the assignment? And that was a very good question because everybody will benefit from that, right? And we like to share because sharing is caring, and caring is sharing, right? So I noticed whenever you try to declare an expression, code blocks doesn't like it. What is the reason? Declare an expression. Okay, Mr. I don't know if it's Mr. or Mrs. Nkosi. Would you like to unmute and talk to me about your question?
Hi, sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, and yourself.
Who are we talking to?
I prefer not to put on my camera at the moment.
Okay. You haven't gone to the hairdresser. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. You'll notice I save on hairdressers, and I don't want that. I get a discount.
Okay, yeah. So my question is like regarding, let's say you're trying to declare, like you can easily declare variables, let's say X and Y. But if I declare another variable, if let's say I want to say Z is equal to X and Y, if I use that variable as an expression, like where I declare X and Y, if I use a Z there as well, like if I put the whole expression X plus Y, it doesn't work out. I have to like make a space, go at the bottom, put as Z is equal to X plus Y. Is there a reason why?
Do you want to give me a variable? So what you're saying your variable is?
Let's just say X and Y variables and Z.
The int X, right? And int Y,
X,
right?
Y.
So those are two variables, right?
And Z.
Okay, and Z, all right.
Right. So my question was regarding that if I'm trying to use an expression, because sometimes I want to write everything like at the top. If I'm trying to use an expression such as that Z is equivalent to X plus Y, you cannot use it under int. Is there a reason why?
Okay, right. Now, very good question. That's a lovely question. If I'd like to store variables in Z or Z as you pronounce it, X and Y must both be integers, right? You can't mismatch a float and a char and a int. That's one reason why it won't take it. So if you look at it now, let's go and see if let's do a build and run. If it's going to work. Oh, it tells me something. It says an error out here. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat. Right. Let's see what's the error. Let's move this thing. And at the top, so it says a warning: variable Z set but not used. So there we go. Z is not used. So what I'd like to do is, I'd like to do this, right? Z build and run. I just want to show you something. It says, oops, it doesn't like this. Let's go and initialize our variables. So if you look at what I'm doing now, I'm initializing variables. This is good programming practice, where you set your variables to 0, right? And when I used to mark my programming students' work, And if they had it done and they didn't have the correct answer, but if they had declared variables to be 0, that means they are initializing their variables, I used to give them a mark. Right? So that would be one, if I could call it a strategy of tackling it, so that you ensure that what you are storing in your variables is indeed 0. And when you do an addition, it now goes and changes it to whatever value you had. So that would be one way of solving an issue where you say the Z is giving you an, expression it can't work, or it's crashing or whatever. It's nice to always declare your variables and then set it to 0, which is initializing your variables, so that it does what you want it to do and not what it feels like doing. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thanks.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Good.
But sometimes I also have a different question. So it's relating to the same thing. So sometimes it would give like let's say you declared incorrectly, you put an expression Z plus XY on the int value, and you put in like you input values for both X and Y, it would give like a large number. So I was wondering where that large number comes from and what it represents.
Oh, okay. That large number comes from you not initializing it to 0, right? That's the problem.
Okay.
Don't initialize it to 0. Or you see what happens if it picks it up from somewhere in memory, it goes and accesses and says, oh, that's the number that it is, that, or it's running out of memory, or whatever it is. But to stop that from happening, you force this container, you force the variable to take on a value of 0, right?
Okay.
So you're forcing it. So if I go and say, if I put out over here, C out, the value of X is, right, I'm going to force it to give me a value, right, what it is. Right, let me just build and run this program. And there we go. Can you see it says out here, the value of X is 0. Am I sharing my screen?
Yes.
Is it can you see this? My MacBook, I should have charged it. It's dead. So
yes, we can see it.
Oh, okay. So I can't even see what's on my screen. So that's what will happen. It forces, it gives you the value that you put in, right? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And this is also a nice debug tool where you print out the value. You say, what is the value of X? To help you all with the assignment, if I'm looking at the question for the assignment, and the last question, which is assignment, which is question 10, it's tracing. There we go, tracing variable diagrams. What we were just talking about, where you assign to 0 and you go and display a value using cout statement. Excuse me, that's what they're asking of you in assignment 1, question 10. So that's a very important part of programming, debugging, tracing, finding out what the output is. Thank you for your question.
Afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm talking to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Put your video on. Let me see who you are. Come on.
Good afternoon.
Who are you? Hello.
I don't like sharing my video.
Oh, you too. Look at
you're
me.
speaking
I don't
to
even
David.
have hair on my head, and I'm sharing my video, and I'm putting myself out there. You know. Okay, go ahead. Ask your question.
And I previously studied C++ back at TUT, it's a different university. So I wanted to know if it's possible to get credits for the stuff I did back then.
Yes, yes, you can get credits for it. It all depends on what the syllabus was at TUT versus what the syllabus is at UNISA. I studied at UKZN many years ago. I had computer science 1, and I transferred over to UNISA, and they credited me for that, right? So I'm talking from personal experience. My best bet is
how do I go?
contact the secretary of the computer science department and ask them what's the procedure to get credits for TUT. You will need your official document from TUT where it gives you the credit listings, and you will need the study guide of the course that you did at TUT, as well as the syllabus or curriculum that you have. And I know this because I work at the University of Technology. All right.
Okay.
I hope you
so
get it.
I should
because
contact the
you'll save money.
secretary of UNISA.
Not UNISA, of the CS department, the computer science department. So if you go to UNISA,
Of the UNISA.
yeah, let me go. I'm sharing my screen. I'm not sure if you can see that. You go and look.
Yes, I can.
Well, let me just go to Google. Go to Google. Google is my best friend,
Okay.
right? So I want the UNISA COS1511 DEPRTMENT department contact details. Let me see if it's there. Right, that should be able to tell you. Right. So there we go. There we go. Contact us. Let's see if that will help. Contact us. You can student queries, send us an email, go there, or go to your tutorial letter 101. Go to tutorial letter 101. Documents. They have contact details of the lecture as well. Downloads. I'm just trying to find out the tutorial letter 101.
Yeah, found it.
I'm sharing my screen.
Yes, I can see it.
Oh, okay, great. So you go to email.
There's a part that says department on page 6.
Page 6. Yes, there we go. There we go. Right, contact them. Computing at unisa.ac.za. Call them 011-670-9200.
Okay.
And
send an email.
Yes, yes. Go. Miss Invalisa is the lecturer for our study, right? Let me see if I can find her. Let's see if they have that. Contact the college. Contact the college. Or do me a favor, send me an email. I'll send you her email address, right? I don't want to post it on the chat because this is a recording. Everyone will see the email address, right? Please. And I posted on YouTube. Right. So
should I send you an email with the same question?
Yeah, yeah, right. Okay,
I'll do that. Thanks.
I don't, like I said, I'm recording this and I don't want to post people's personal details, and I post it to YouTube. Okay, thank you for that question. Class, by my time, it's 10 minutes past our time of 1 o'clock. I'm going to conclude my lesson now. So today what we did was, let's just stop the share. Thank you, Ziada, Kevin, for joining us. James was here. And who else is here? Ezekiel, David, Zara, Suzanne. Anybody with a quick question? Anybody quickly? Anyone with a question? I helped you with the assignment 1. I shared with you my Wakelet page, and on there I have all the resources for assignment 1, resources for code blocks as well. I hope you learned something new in the last hour that we were talking, and that you benefited from it. Please submit assignment 1 ASAP. Next week, Saturday, we'll meet again, and we'll talk very briefly about if you have any problems with assignment 1, and yeah, share and care.
Okay, one last question.
Yes, David.
One last question.
Go ahead.
I see you are recording the session. Will we have access to this recording?
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. I will post that to my Wakelet page, and I'll also post it to the announcement page on my UNISA. Okay. if you missed the lecture.
Awesome. No, thanks so much.
Or send me an email, David, and I'll reply to you with the link. Okay, but give me a couple hours to upload to Zoom. Last week, you missed last week's lecture.
Okay, cool.
It's available as well, David. Were you here last week?
No, I only started joining today. I only saw the emails today,
David,
actually.
maybe you can watch last week's lecture. There we go. Last week's lecture, and you can increase my number of views on YouTube.
Will do. Okay. I'll definitely watch that.
Okay. So this was last week's lecture. I'll just share that in the group for you so that, oh, you got to watch it on YouTube. Okay. I wonder why it's age restricted. I got to change that setting. Let me welcome to our very first C++ COS1511 Zoom session. So David,
thanks a lot.
Lecture, I'm going to share that in the chat for you. Oh, there's a question here from Kevin. Kevin says, David, if you also go to my YouTube channel, I've got lots of help out there as well. All the videos that are on Wakelet is available to you. Even if you are working on assignment 2 on the Flight Center, the booking example, please, it's there. There's some assistance for you. There's some past year questions as well. But please like the video, put a comment out there to say, hey, you know, and try and make it at least 100.
Will do.
Thank you, David. Kevin says, the session was very helpful. Oh, you're a star, Kevin. Thank you. I love the good, positive feedback. The official WhatsApp group seems to be full. Is there a second one that you can join? Kevin, I do not know that there's an official WhatsApp group.
I saw the my UNISA page, they said we must join the WhatsApp group, and I thought it was an official one. So if you don't know about it, maybe it's not official.
No. We had a meeting and the staff mentioned that according to the POPI Act, that's the privacy of personal information. You know, I don't know how valid it is to share your cell phone number on, but I don't know about this official WhatsApp group. No one has mentioned anything. The lecturer hasn't told me anything. It's not in the study guide. So, yeah. All right. So thank you very much, Des and Kosi. Thank you, sir. We'll see you next week. Yes, we'll see you next week. Please come with questions, like James had a question, and maybe you can share your screen with your issue with a particular question in assignment 1. We'll still work on assignment 1, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Okay. Thank you very much, Susan. Yay, well done. Susan, put your video on. Susan, put your video on. Anybody wants to take a photograph? We can put our cameras on. We'll share. Anybody will? I'd like to take a photograph. Maybe share with you guys. No. Yes. No. Okay. Doesn't matter. Bye, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you, Ezekiel. You learned a lot. I'm so happy. Oh, I should stop the recording. I should stop the recording because I don't want all of that to come out in the recording. And where's the stop the recording?